Hello, welcome in. I'm going to be doing a bit of Reiki this evening. I kind of want to focus this one specifically on maybe Heart Chakra, kind of past relationships that we've had with ourselves, with other people. This week that's been going through all of Aries season so far. It's just been really heavy. It's a lot of dense energy. Just a whole bunch of craziness. But let me know how you've been doing, how you've been feeling. Welcome in. Hey Anne, how are you feeling? But yes, like I was saying, I kind of want to focus energy kind of on different relationships that exist within our lives. The ones we have with ourselves, the ones we've had with the past. Hey Jackie, how's it going? I didn't hear back from you. Email me or message on one of my videos if you kind of need to chat about things. It's been overwhelming and emotional. It's been a lot of heavy energy. Hey, how's it going? So I've noticed the week in different waves. It beginning really heavy, it lightened up a little bit for me, and then today just a lot of past energy started coming back up. It almost feels like a time of just reflection, looking inwards. I've been kind of going back in time, looking through my journal, seeing how I've changed, who I was, what my goals are, what do I want from different things. Hello. So take this moment to kind of let go of any of those heavy energies. As I'm doing the pulling, kind of imagine any heavy energy, any dense energy being lifted away. That's the only thing that I'm able to take. Just kind of resetting the psyche, resetting the mind. It's kind of like a massage of just your inner world, your inner thoughts. Use this as a safe space to kind of vent out, talk about anything that might be coming up. I like to use this kind of as a shadow work arena, where we kind of look at what's been triggering us, what's been heavy, what's causing this sadness. Use a bit of selenite to kind of clear through a bit of energy. Yeah, life has been a lot. I feel like for me it's sort of been like maybe a month or a few months of kind of like existential dread. Like, what are we doing? What do we want to be doing? What do we want the future to look like? I'm sorry about that. I know health concerns are a lot. They're heavy. I'm sending you love. Someone asking me to twerk. I know. I kind of wanted tonight to kind of be about relationships, just because I feel like there's this energy of just, there's this loneliness, this lonely feeling, this emptiness. And it's kind of, I still lean into like reflect. Thank you. Reflect on who you were, who you are, who you've been with other people. How do you heal that relationship with yourself? That we could call in something that you deserve. Yep, I felt that a lot this week from just a lot of different energy sources, a lot of different people that I spoke to. And even some people that are in relationships with people, them feeling lonely as well, just because needs aren't being met. People aren't meeting them where they need to be met. Yes, I see there's a lot of shedding as well, letting go of the past, being brave enough to let go of things that no longer serve you. Creating space for something new to enter. And it could just be you, allowing space for you to evolve into who you need to evolve into. Yes, this is a healing space. There's a space for you to connect with others, to connect with yourself. I appreciate your presence, just being here, being kind, being part of the community, helping to create the safe space that everyone kind of needs. Let me see. Decided to move across the country to live with my best friend of 20 years. That's amazing, though, that you decided to move to live closer to them, that we can maintain that connection. Hey, Coco. I've been trying to move away from the city with all my friends in it, but to move across the country just to be someone that makes you feel safe. Is manifesting real? I'm terrible at it. Or maybe I'm not terrible at it. I don't get specific enough on what I want. It is real in the sense that we're gonna deep dive into what manifestation is, and if you do it in a way that's healthy, because a lot of times it seems like almost like toxic positivity, where like you have to think positive all the time, you have to be positive all the time, otherwise it won't happen, it won't come across, I won't run into the things that I need to run into. But the truth is, let's figure out, let's do it with an example, like what do you want to manifest? And then once we have an idea of what that is, kind of breaking that down and figuring out what blocks are there. So kind of, let's say it's love. Let's say you want to call in someone specific. What blocks are there that's holding you back? Have you previously been in a relationship or relationships that were similar, that were toxic, that didn't allow you to grow? So in your mind, you kind of think that that's what a relationship is, and you're just looking for the next person to kind of step into that role. Whereas the way I see manifestation is kind of picking apart those previous beliefs in what's happening, and kind of redesigning what a relationship should look like. Looking at the past relationships, what worked, what didn't work, what it should feel like to be in a healthy, positive relationship. And yes, manifestation does have a lot of kind of like toxic positivity vibes, because it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel down. We're human. We came here to experience those things. And that's why I do have some issues with the idea of manifestation, but that's because I have different traumas within myself that kind of hold me back. Whereas like if I look at like my account that I'm building here, the fan base that I'm building, the friends that I'm building, I wanted a community, and I set out, I put in the work, and the universe started meeting me halfway. And it felt easy, because I've never done anything like this before. I was afraid, I was terrified. I'm like, this is odd and this is different. I don't know who's going to accept it, who's not going to accept it. There were some rough patches, but in time, the people meant to be here showed up, and they were here. The people I was meant to help showed up, and they were here. And that's something I wanted to do. After going through my own healing journey, I wanted to share that light, bring it to others. So in that way, that's something that I manifested. But I haven't done anything like this before, so I didn't have any blocks making me think that this is impossible, that it's difficult to do. Whereas other things in our lives do feel difficult. As I job hunt, as I look for kind of real world positions, it feels more difficult, just because it's like there's so many roadblocks, there's so many applications, there's so many requirements. it feels impossible. Let me know if that helps. Let me know if that makes sense. And so that's why you have to do the shadow work. Rewrite the narrative in your mind. Rewrite what you think you need out of this reality. But don't cling to it. Don't think, I need this one specific person. I need this one specific job to come through. I need this. You kind of have to imagine what it feels like. What does that energy feel like when you have that thing? Either it's a relationship, a job, a new car, new crystals. What is the emotion that comes along with that? And if you kind of hold on to that energy or remember what that energy is, when you're in that state of mind, writing down what it is that you want to manifest. Reiki can help in different ways. I use it specifically for emotions, but if you kind of imagine anywhere on the body that's hurting, if you can place your hand on that place in the body, imagine kind of white light kind of illuminating that area. Imagine it healing through those energies. For some people, they say that does help them. And yes, I think someone asked what I do in the real world, and it's like, I'm still figuring that out. A lot of things fell apart for me a few years ago, and I'm still kind of piecing that back together. Who do I want to be in this world? And a lot of people look up to me, and I'm like, why? No, don't. I don't know who I am. I just want to help a little bit. Someone asked a really good question. How does this work over the internet? There's a lot of different answers for that. You're right. We're where we need to be right now. So my intention with Reiki, okay, there's a lot of different explanations, but before I start Reiki sessions, it's sort of that I use a distance symbol created in Reiki that allows this energy to go through wherever it needs to go, to call in whoever it needs to heal. And it's intelligent. It knows exactly what needs healing. So that's something that I use. I haven't personally been using the symbol as much because now it's ingrained in my intention of what I'm doing. And so because I felt that, because I see that so many people are receptive to the energy, it's become a written law that whenever I do this, it's going to reach whoever it needs to and it's going to help. Also, it's about self-belief. If you think it's going to help, it's going to help in a way. Because this energy, it isn't my energy. This is sort of your energy. This is what you can tap into. And so I see myself as the conductor of an orchestra, if you will. The gestures that I do kind of signal different things in the brain and the subconscious to kind of remember ways of healing, allowing the gateways to open and to allow the energy to flow through you. Hold on, I saw a comment that was, the world feels like a sad place right now. It's been heavy. It's been a lot. But truthfully, it's always been heavy. And it's always been a lot. Just the media chooses specifically what it wants to highlight. How to fearmonger. And so this is why I do fall into this sort of Taoist philosophy. Because it's sort of like I'm an empath. So as an empath, if I see all this chaos happening, I want to help. I want to be there. I want to help people. I want to bring light. I want there to be peace. And it becomes emotionally draining. I pour out of a cup into nothing. All I could do is help the person that's next to me right now, or who's in front of me, who's here in this room with me. And that allows the light to spread through. And when I speak of the Taoist philosophies, it's sort of like, it's simple. It's not a religion, it's philosophy. The water goes where it needs to go. The water always goes to a low place and then rises up what it needs to. We're all just waves on the ocean, just experiencing this one at a time, one story at a time. Oh, the mirror who sent me that. The universe has been calling me to practice scrying, to work with a mirror, to call in different portals. And I've been afraid to. So whoever sent that, you see me. You see me more clearly than I see me. Hey, a dog. It's a corgi specifically. And so my best friend that passed away last year, he used to love corgis. So for me, that's a sign that he's making fun of me and is like, just do what you need to do. Yeah, there's different scrying with mirrors. Haley had sent me some information as well as doing mediumship with mirrors. Mediumship does scare me a little bit. I try to do it through a way of shamanic practice. Taoism is a really good philosophy. It's a very peaceful philosophy. And so with my current mentor, she speaks a lot about the world sort of as a garden, seeing everybody and everything as a flower that's slowly blossoming, but continuously blossoming. So a lot of us we judge ourselves. We're like, we're not good enough. We're not powerful enough. We're not where we need to be in life. And these are thoughts that I have in my head as well. But it's like, if you look at a tree, it's like, do you think a tree thinks that? Do you think a tree thinks that it's not beautiful? The tree just is. It connects to a network larger than itself. It searches for the light and reaches for it. It chooses only to grow. And so whenever I get too wrapped up in the stories and the narratives, I go back to that metaphor. What does it feel like to be a wave on the ocean? What does it feel like to just be a plant growing in a garden? Yes, I do one-on-ones. They're a bit different than this, only because we dive deep into the subconscious. We kind of look into the shadow work of like, what are we dealing with? What are we struggling with? Then we heal through each chakra. Yes, the concept of Wu Wei Wu is phenomenal. So I am doing something known as Reiki Healing. Right now specifically, I'm doing energy pulling, kind of sifting through heavy, dense energies, sort of like anxiety, depression, feeling low, healing through negative timelines that you might be having. Soon I'll be using a bit more crystals to kind of heal through that, but this is just a way of energy healing. And so what energy healing is that there's a physical body that you see right now, all of this inside. I'm not this face, I'm not this body, I'm none of this. I am a soul and I'm a spirit, and that's tied to the energetic body. And so the theory is that if the energetic body is kind of disrupted, that creates dissonance in the physical realm, in the physical body. And so with compassion, love, setting that as the intention before I do healings such as this, it helps specific people. So some people do resonate with this energy. For some people it's too much. For some people they don't feel anything. There are different healers of different modalities, but that's just sort of what I'm doing. So I'm playing with crystals, Reiki healing, sound therapy with music that I've made. Crying is good. Crying is safe. I create the safe space so you could kind of let go of those heavy emotions. Restore that relationship with yourself. Because as we go throughout the day, we experience things, and sometimes it hurts. We want to kind of break down and cry, and we're not allowed to, because in the adult world they say that we're not supposed to. But this kind of creates that safe space to allow that sadness, that sorrow, that dense energy to flow through. Selenite I use because it's very high vibrational, and I kind of use it to break through the shadows that I cannot pull. Also, it gives kind of that perception. I don't know if you realize, like, whenever you're kind of looking for something and you walk through a doorway, you forget what you're looking for. And so this shifts your perspective. This shifts your mind, your perception of reality. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard to cry. I think there was a few comments. I'm trying to get through the comments, but there is a lot. I explained that a little bit earlier, but in Reiki, there is a distance symbol that we can use. That way it doesn't matter if you're in front of me or not in front of me. All of my sessions currently are distance only, and it's been super effective. Everyone that I've had a session with has changed significantly in some way. I learned Reiki back in 2020. I was on a self-healing journey to kind of heal through myself. I want to use, because tonight I do want to focus on relationships with yourself, relationships of the past, and kind of heal those timelines and bring your heart fragments back together. That way you could experience your own self-love. So I'm going to be using a little bit of rose quartz to kind of comb through the energy. We do deep shadow work in our sessions. So maybe there are certain things in this world they were not sure they want to do or need to do, life paths or speaking with their spirit guides or higher self, or kind of like where they need to go next in life. And so I go through each of the chakras. We heal through all of them in a meditation together. It takes normally about 30 to 40 minutes. Once we clear that energy out that heals the spiritual body, it normally takes like a full week or two to fully process that energy, but it kind of brings you back to equilibrium with yourself. It puts you back into the body and out of the ruminating thoughts in the mind. From there, depending what you need, we go there. We can go to the Akashic Records, kind of look through soul paths that you need to go on, maybe even just general guidance. But the reason I do it through a way of meditation is that if I'm not around, you then have a meditation that you could do for yourself. And so another thing that I started doing is that I did create a Patreon where I want to start posting kind of monthly Reiki videos, like 10-minute videos here or there. That way, if you can't do the one-on-ones, you'll be able to kind of still experience it. Or if not that, then I do my lives at least twice for the week. Just want to check through the chat really quickly. What is the best way to keep negative energies away from me and my home? A little bit of research might have to be done. There are certain crystals you could put in different places in your house that would help protect you. Cleaning through the house, removing that. I think also if you put like pink Himalayan salt in the four corners, that helps create a barrier. I think obsidian and selenite over the door creates a barrier. Sage helps a lot. I do a meditation where I kind of imagine a bubble of light either around you. If you're going into public, imagine a bubble of light or any element that you like working with to surround you, to create a shield around you. And doing the same for your home. But if you're doing it within the home, I like an origin point. So sort of you sitting there meditating, imagining that orb of light, then imagine that growing until it reaches the outside of your home, sort of pushing away any of those negative energies. If you study shamanism, doing the Moonai key rites, there are things known as the bands of power. Those you could expand to help surround you. Yes, you could imagine the light around both of you, and that would help protect both of you. Like, things still can get through, but I think having that perception that nothing could hurt me, that I'm safe right now, that doesn't hurt. Hello from the Scottish Highlands. I'm not sure about the blue Kyanite, because I know that's a very high vibrational crystal. I keep selenite over my door and obsidian the most. I'm not sure what that means. Yes, this helps a lot of people fall asleep. So some people tune in and just kind of listen to it. They just let the energy kind of bring them to sleep. Hello from hello to South Africa. Trinidad and Tobago. What was it? I had a thought, but I lost it. This sound is up on my YouTube. Also, previous lives go up on my YouTube. Oh, let me see. There was a question. When your crystal breaks, normally it could mean that it's protected you from something. And you could do different things with it. If you feel like there's still energy that's there that you could work with, you could still work with it. But a lot of times, some people, they kind of bring it into nature, plant it around a tree, bring it to the ocean. But also looking at the way that it broke. How does it look? What energy do you sense from it? Clairsentient. So I feel a lot of things. I could walk into a room and I could just feel the energy, and sometimes it could be overwhelming. Learning to trust the intuition is really important. Even if you dropped it, it fell for a reason. It broke for a reason. I still feel like it protects you. I mean, can't tell if this is a placebo. Isn't everything a placebo? Everything happens in the mind, does it not? I'm using blue Kyanite now. I set the intention that you're going to heal. I tell you you're going to heal. If I tell you that's going to happen and you believe me enough, you're going to heal. That's what I believe. Words are power. Words are spells. Everything we do, the moment we're born, we're told how to operate within this world. We're told how to behave, how to cooperate. And I feel like up until like you're 30, you're still processing all that programming. And at that point, you decide, do you still believe in the programming? Well, programming can be rewritten. Can we become self-aware when patterns start looping themselves around again? Someone asked, if you're jumping in and you're new, you could close your eyes if you want. Kind of use this just as a meditation. Everyone, please follow my moderators. They're all amazing. They're all powerful, intuitive. They keep me going. They keep me sane. There are different ways that I protect myself. I've worked with a shaman mentor. Her name is Lauren Thu, and I went with her through the initiation of the Moonai key rites, and so I'm a bunch of different protections were placed into each of my chakras, different archetypes. So no matter what I do, I'm constantly protected. I also open space before I begin any of my sessions with shamanic prayers, calling in the different archetypes, calling in the earth, the four winds, all of the energies. Hey Courtney, how's it going? No, my mentor does not have a YouTube. She's on Instagram, and she teaches in my bio, it's a place called The Portal. And so it's basically a place that's sort of like a gym membership for spirituality. This is Kyanite. I was reading what energies would help with Heart Chakra, and Kyanite was one that showed up for me. Because tonight I do want to kind of focus, I said I wanted to focus on relationships, but whatever comes up, comes up. Moving out is big for the first time. I would set the intention that you create new frames in which you exist. Hold on to the frames in which resonate with you that you've had as you were growing up, and then build new frames and new realities for yourself. Think of it as an adventure. This is a way, having your own space is a way of exploring yourself in new ways. Thank you. I need to do more meditation type stuff. I think that a lot of people would enjoy that more. If I do that, I'm going to probably bring it to my Patreon. There's a few things up there right now, but that's something I would probably bring more of in the future. This is a crystal known as Kyanite. Someone had asked for a bit of pulling, so I'm going to switch to kind of lifting, kind of heavy energy from you. So anything you're kind of holding on to, kind of let go of that. Allow your heart fragments to come back together. Because tonight, that is my focus. I've been feeling a lot of fractured relationships within myself, within other people. Fears from those fractured relationships. And what we do in moments like that is, you can say it out loud. You call back your heart fragments, your soul fragments. These are pieces that kind of break off from breakups, from letdowns, from people that hurt you. And so that energy, it doesn't leave you, but it goes into hiding somewhere. I started half an hour ago. I'll see how long I go for. Breakups are tough. Allow yourself the space to heal. There are lessons we learn from every relationship. Lessons we learn about ourselves, lessons we learn about other people. I like creating, I don't know where Virgo is in my chart, but I like creating kind of lists. What did I like? What did I not like? Those then become my red flags. Those then become my green flags. That way, when I feel brave enough to move on to another person, what should that look like? What are my boundaries? Did I ever send you guys my pros and cons list? Later I'll send the Soul Tribe my pros and cons list. The list isn't actually mine. Rachel, you are not a red flag. I look at my last list. The list wasn't mine. I was helping another friend, and I was like, "Here, I'm not going to be around to help all the time, but here's a list of what you didn't like and what you did like from your last relationship. If more of the red flags start getting checked off in your next relationship, that's the time to have the conversation. See if they change. See how long they change for, and if they don't stay consistent, it's time to move forward." And I feel like Disney these days has been really stressful. But they kind of set that mentality where, like, in life, there's this one single person that's going to be there. This princess ideology. Here's a list. And it's like, we change as people. Every moment. It's hard to imagine a single person staying forever, in my opinion, for me specifically. This can range from reality to reality, but I've changed so much in the last 2 years alone that I could not imagine a single person wanting to stay as I went through all of that chaos. Crying is okay. That means you feel safe enough to let go of those energies. Allow the tears to flow. Allow the energy to flow through. Where was I? I studied online with someone named Melissa Crowhurst. The thing is, a lot of the Reiki I use, I've kind of learned from just other practitioners after getting the master attunement, and some that I've received through a download Divorce is tough. Divorce is heavy. I learned Usui at first, and then I started making my own. Still deciding on a name. I like the name Shadow Reiki because it sounds cool, but I don't know how the public feels about that. I'm going to be using this rock. I'm joking. It's a crystal, green adventuring. And so we meet different people to level us up, show us how the world works. If you believe in law of attraction, sometimes we meet the people that meet at our vibration or balance out the vibration that we're at. This one I'm still focusing on. Yeah, I said this rock because a lot of people jump in. They're like, bro, that's a rock. I'm like, fine, you know what? It's a rock. It's a rock now. This rock I found on my porch to heal you. On the streets of Brooklyn. This is in New York. Green adventuring that I found hanging outside. This is all the music I made was just intuitive. I was like, I'm just whatever feels right when I listen to it. That's the well, it's a crystal. Specifically, it's a crystal. I'm only joking because like a lot of haters or trolls will jump in and they're like, that's just a rock. Why are you holding up a rock? I'm glad, Missy. I'm glad that it's helping. Rocco. I should name these crystals from now on. I think that would throw people off. I threw me off. I forgot where I was going with my whole relationship rant. Make a list. If you're lonely, if you're hurt, if you're going through a breakup or a divorce, make a list. What did you like? What did you not like? And make that your checklist. And you can go through that list whenever you want. Whenever you need to. I say do it every single day because I don't know what's wrong with me, but honestly, having a flow chart of how a relationship is going is important. This one is called Bam Bam. You guys are awesome. So chills are good. People might feel tingling, chills. You want the presentation, my relationship presentation. Not a flow chart. Maybe a Venn diagram. A live rock naming ceremony. I struggle to remember their real names, like what the actual elements are. This one is Green Adventuring, but I think we've collectively named it Bam Bam. So this is Bam Bam. I'm gonna have to remember. Yeah, I love. So it is like an alcohol poster from Cognac, but like I love the artwork that's in it. Someone told me to name it Bam Bam. We're naming it Bam Bam. Pebbles would be probably the soda light that's next to it. That's what Pebbles would be. And like each relationship kind of put what the green flags look like, what the red flags look like. All of that. Honestly, that's how I got started. You've got to tell me why I have to name one Robert, and then I'll probably do it. But I just need to know. Don't forget Dine. Oh, I've got an amethyst. Someone has to write it. Can one of my mods remind me what I've named these crystals so far? It's kind of clearing through. Don't name it Robert. Wait, why was... Did someone tell me why I should name it Robert? Did I miss it? Kennedy's pet rock names. No common names. Okay, fine. No Roberts. No Steves. I'm joking. time is it? I lose track of time. I don't know how long. I don't know how late this one's gonna go. But yeah, I was saying, I even started off on TikTok just because it's like, I had one friend I was giving a ton of advice to, and she wouldn't listen. So I'd show up here and give kind of those angry advice posts on relationships. Like, if person A does XYZ, leave them. Just leave them. Because I found out that strangers take my advice, but my friend would not. And that's why I'm where I am today, right now. So get angry at your friends and then make big TikTok posts about them that they don't know about on a TikTok they don't know about. That's my that's my advice. And if they find out about it and they ask you if it's about them, no, it's not about them. Just Robin Hood. If you write it down, Haley, I'll call it Robin Hood. Yeah, tonight I want to focus on the heart chakra. Call back in that energy. Call back in that love. That love you gave away to people that didn't deserve it. Allow it. Let it flow back to you. Let it collect back with you. Oh no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Me as a projector, I like to talk and hear myself talk. I had good ideas and she didn't want to listen, but you're right. People have to learn by stumbling, falling, picking themselves back up. Or if a complete stranger on the internet tells you, sometimes they hear you. This energy kind of focuses on opening the heart chakra. But if you imagine the heart chakra kind of opening, you could do it for yourself. Thank you, Rachel. You could relax, kind of listen. You could look at the screen if you want to, or kind of just don't look at the screen. Whatever you feel called to. Some people jump in and they kind of just want to... They use this to fall asleep. They like falling asleep to this. I try to... So whenever I feel sad or lonely, or if I feel... Because I want to lean into like relationship stuff. If I miss my previous relationships, I separate myself, because the part of me that misses the certain relationships, or the part of me that feels sad, that could be past versions of myself that's bringing energy in. And so even though I'm here now, all the life experiences I kind of forget, and I traverse time and go back to that moment in which those events happen to make me feel sad. So I'm not sure if that helps, but kind of it's that loneliness, that feeling of isolation. It's sort of the hurt inner child kind of calling out for attention. And so when it doesn't get attention, you kind of feel everything pulled down, way down. You don't feel that connection to others that you need to feel. And so for me, I separate myself so that I could talk to that version of myself and see what they need. See how they need to play in this reality through this new body that I have. Through the experiences that I've learned. And that's what I see is kind of that sadness and loneliness, or heartache, or kind of that longing feeling. I try to do at least twice for the week, and then I try to post up on YouTube as well. So Reiki is a very peaceful, gentle energy. So that's why it feels calm. This is why it helps a lot of people fall asleep. You still receive the healing energy, but it kind of brings you to that place of just like, you feel safe, you feel seen in a way. Yes. So like I say make a flow chart. I say go through that list every day when you've made it and go into a new relationship, because truthfully, when we step into a new relationship, we kind of put on a mask. We put on the mask of our best selves. We want to impress them. We want to learn who they are and kind of create the person that they can see and reciprocate. And so it literally takes around 3 to 6 months for someone to show their true colors to you. And that's where it's tough, because then it's like in those 3 to 6 months, you're like, this isn't the person I had liked. I'm not sure what happened. I'm going to keep giving and giving until I can bring back that person that you were, because that was the person that I fell in love with, that I liked. And that's where it's frustrating, because they were never that person. Sometimes it's this weird dance. I don't know how to describe it. But what love should be two honest people showing who they are, and you completely falling in love with what that person is. It's just that we get hurt so much that we're afraid. We're afraid to move on to the next person. We're afraid of how we blame ourselves for when things break up, when we break up, when they break up. So we feel like we have to put on this mask, we have to put on this play and this show. And so that's kind of my objective, kind of recreating reality in what works, what doesn't work, what should work. If you were still friends with the person 2 years prior, I'm not sure if I understand the question. If you were friends with them before, I think that's good, because by then you've seen who they are. Maybe not in a relationship or romantic sort of view, but you've seen who they are as a friend, and I think that's important. Because that creates a different bond where, like, it's sort of like you know them, you see the real them. You could both feel safe around each other. I'm gonna switch to Dino. I forget its name. But it's a piece of amethyst. A lot of the crystals I'm using or have been using are from Cherie Mystic. The last one I had was Green Adventurine, or as I now like to call it, Bam Bam. People want more pulling? Okay, I'm gonna do a bit more pulling, and then I'll jump back into this one. So let go of any of those heavy energies, because I know we've been talking about a lot of heavy relationship stuff. Then I'm gonna dive back into Dino. I know his name, it's just been a long time. So I'll do this for a few minutes, and then I'll jump into that. I like it too. That way I could throw off my trolls when they jump in. They're like, what is that? That's a rock. No. It's Bam Bam. Don't make fun of me. Dino. Thank you. But yes, that's why that list is important. That's why setting your boundaries are important. Also, filling your own cup up. I was talking to my friend earlier. Who should you fight? No one yet. No one yet, Rachel. I'll let you know. Oh. No, it's just amethyst. We're doing a rock naming ceremony right now for some of them. But the thing is, so let's talk about self-love now. What does that look like? What do we think when we hear that? Do we think of like bubble baths or just kind of like spa days? When what it should be is that you treat yourself like your own best friend. Because think about your best friend. You love them. You love them more than anything else in this world. They walk up to you and say some guy or some girl broke their heart or they treated them incorrectly. No, you're ready to fight. You're ready to throw hands. That's that energy you need for yourself as well. Seeing yourself as your own best friend. And for me, that's what it means when you fill your own cup up. When you have enough self-love that you could push your boundaries effortlessly. When you feel that you're being wronged in some way and you could stand up and be like, no, I'm not taking this. I'm not handling this. That's where that foundation is. That's what self-love is. Befriend yourself. Become your own best friend. That way, no matter where you're at, once you run into situations that kind of try to push you down and kind of make you feel not like yourself, not the way you deserve to feel, you can step back and be like, nope, this is crossing a boundary with me. And the problem that I've seen is that it's not our faults. The moment we're born, we're taught by our parents how to survive in this reality, because that's important. We can't stand out too much. We can't be too weird. Otherwise, people won't accept us. And if we can't be accepted, we can't fit into society. But the biggest issue is once you get into the school system, you fall into the box thinking, a system designed to make you follow schedules, make you follow obedience, make you follow whatever rules they have in play. Which is why, like, once you reach that teenage years, it's like you fully want to rebel. You realize that it's all just BS, that you're tired of it, you're angry, all the hormones that are running through. I didn't really have that phase till my 20s, because I don't even think I'm from Earth. But that's what I see happening, where it's like you want to rebel, you're tired of the rules, it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel right. We're put into the box saying that you're supposed to go to school for like 8 to 9 hours a day, then you're supposed to go home and do a bunch of studying and doing XYZ, staying in a box, staying in a frame. Not having our own boundaries and constantly having boundaries placed around us over and over and over and over and over again, until when finally you reach college or dating age, and it's like if you followed the system, if you followed what you need to do, you've become obedient. And that's where it becomes dangerous, because then you've been programmed to hear that from Disney, from love stories, that you find the one. That one's supposed to treat you right, the prince, the princess, whatever you feel called to. And so we fall into that. And in a way we seek divinity, because once we're born, we see our parents as gods in a way. They take care of us, they make sure we're okay, we build that relationship, and then we kind of spend the rest of our lives looking for that connection, to feel that inner love, that inner connection, that inner divinity. And that's where it's tricky. And so we're going back to Dino. That's why I say by the time you reach 30, it's about rewriting those narratives, learning what you like, don't like, and learning how to clear that throat chakra and say, no, I don't like this, I don't like that. Not having to fit into the relationship box, because we're used to fitting into boxes. We're used to wanting to fit into boxes. Yeah, public schools are just, yes, I have good friends, yes, I have decent memories, but like overall it just never felt right for me. So it's a whole pain. And yes, the 30s are rough, because by then there's so many patterns that have been overlaid that you have to follow them. You follow them without even realizing it, and you reach the point where you see certain people and you think they're like an NPC, a non-playable character, because they're just saying things on repeat or on loop. You question if reality is real. But it's them following that pattern. And so I'm speaking in this narrative because I think this narrative affects empaths the most. So different people have different experiences, but I feel like that's the journey of what the empath went through. Having to be that incredibly smart kid, having to be seen, to be nice, to be obedient, to fit in. Exactly. Is anyone real? Is anything real? Because I'll feel myself at times too kind of go into a pattern thinking, or triggered thinking. Something will happen and I'll fall back into ways that I've been in the past. Yep, if you've been bullied, if you've been hurt, you've learned to blend in, you've learned to fit in, you've learned to make yourself small. And it's like, we shouldn't have to do that our whole lives. It is a prison. It is a mental prison. And so from the school, from all of that, it tells you what's real, what's not real, what you need to do. It prepares you for life in a corporate world and in a capitalistic world. But you have like health classes and things like that, and they never teach you like what a healthy relationship looks like. And if we grow up in a home that doesn't have a healthy relationship, we don't know what that looks like. We don't know what we should be looking for. We don't know what green flags or red flags are, or what narcissists are, or any of that. And there are patterns and different things. And it's like, I don't blame narcissists for being what they are. It's a society that allows people to be like this. So obsessing is ruminating thoughts. How can you separate yourself? What is it that you want from this person? What is it that's making this obsession? How do you separate yourself and see what needs are not being met of your own that kind of makes you feel obsessed and overly connected? Narcissist is difficult. I'm going to do a bit of pulling. I'm going to see if I could try and summarize it. I don't think I have the words, but I think I have the scenarios to kind of explain it. But it's like, if you have a strong boundary and a narcissist pushes at it, and you're like, I don't like when you said this to me in this, there was a tone that you used and that didn't sound right to me. They would fight back. They would argue back. But you said this to me earlier that day. You hurt my feelings too. When what we're looking for is to understand each other. We want to hear each other's perspective, and it shouldn't be a fighting match. So they would immediately turn it into a fighting match. It would immediately be like, exactly as I just described it, but I'm trying to think of a different scenario. Oh, you said this in front of my friends, and I didn't like how that sounded. And then it's like, well, 3 weeks ago you said that in front of my friends, and I didn't like that either. These might not be specific narcissistic examples, but it's sort of like patterns that we fall into. That gaslighting, yep. Like, you hurt my feelings too, you didn't care about it then. Instead of creating the safe space to say, hey, can I talk about something that happened earlier today without a fight? I just kind of want to go over how this made me feel without there having to be backlash. Or even creating a safe space in the relationship where, like, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, kind of coming together and reassessing the relationship. What do I like? What do I not like? But they know how to trigger you, especially as empaths. There's this song and dance with empaths and narcissists. Empaths want to please. We want people to be happy with us. We want them to see us. We want them to love us, to give back the love that we're continuously pouring out to them. And they're designed in this dance to continuously take and take and take and take. They won't own it. They won't own their feelings. They won't own that they hurt you. They're just going to create a story that's like, you were hurt, I was hurt too, and XYZ happened. They don't want to take the blame, and then you feel bad. They flip the switch. My ex was a little bit of a narcissist too, where, like, I kind of bring up something where, like, whenever she tells a story, I try to be objective, but still, it's someone you care about. So I try to be on their side and be like, oh, I don't know why that person did that. That's wrong. But whenever I brought up a story, I was the wrong one. Why did I behave that way? Why did I do this? And I got upset, and I was like, why is it always that you're taking the other people's side when I'm just trying to kind of talk about the emotions? Like, I know I wasn't 100% in the right, but I kind of want to know that I wasn't 100% wrong either. And instead of kind of validating that, they would kind of break down in tears and just get upset that they hurt me. They wouldn't want to just kind of readjust, change that narrative. Because that was the what it should be. Two adult people coming together and discussing, building something. Blocks and boundaries. I have to, if a relationship goes entirely south, if there's someone that I feel like is overtaking from my cup, I have to block sometimes. I'm like, no, I don't want you in my life. Please stop. I forgive you for whatever, but you've had your chances to change. I don't feel like we're a good match at all. And this could be friendships as well. I I am a Scorpio, so I don't think you have to forgive. You could block. For me, I hear a lot of, I want closure, I need closure. Their actions was the closure. That was the narrative they told. You didn't like it, they pushed you away, XYZ. That is the closure. They had the entire relationship, the entire friendship, to show you who they were, what they were about, if they were willing to change. We never forget. We never forget. And it's a spicy energy. I'm like, some people I don't forgive. I don't have to. I could wish them the best. I don't want to hear the best. I don't want to hear what they're going through. I don't want to hear their successes anymore. They had their chance. We have to realize that us as empaths, we're kind of the golden child. We're the one that's amazing. We're the one that should receive the love that we've been giving so much to, and we haven't. I know all of us here that are listening to this is like, you've struggled, you've been through it, you felt it. Yes. Research it a bit more about narcissists, how they act, how they do certain things. It's going to seem childish. It's going to seem like a child throwing a tantrum. It's not going to seem like an adult willing to have a grown-up discussion. It's going to seem like someone that's wounded, and they want to hurt you back because you've said something that hurt them, because you're starting to see through their veil, and they don't like that. They feel like they're losing control, so they're going to lash back out. I'm going to use a bit of ruby quartz. If you could leave. This is your life. This is your reality. This story is short. If you can, live the life that you need. And I know in some cases we have to kind of put up with certain things and deal with certain things until a plan comes into place. So do what feels right for you. But if you have no attachments, if there's nothing holding you back from like walking out, walk out. Oh yeah, they're all control freaks. They want to be the center of the attention. Yep, forgive but don't forget. Allow new people to step in and try and show you the light that's out there, but if you see certain patterns, the universe is circular like that. They will bring different life adventures to you again to see how much you've learned. Are you ready to put up boundaries? Are you ready to do certain things differently? This is a ruby quartz. And it's like, that's what a lot of us go through, and we shouldn't have to. And I've seen it both ways. A lot of men narcissists and women narcissists, and it's like they grew up in different ways. And so there's a lot of theories about how a narcissist is created and how an empath is created. But the narcissist is, a lot of times people speculate that it's this child raising technique known as the Ferber technique, where at a young age you kind of leave a child to self-soothe themselves as they're crying, as they're kind of going through a tantrum. And this is in infancy. So they feel neglected, they feel alone. They learn to manipulate from that age. And kind of a similar story to empaths, where it's like you've been put through so much pressure that you have to sense the energy of a room entering it so that you know that it's safe. We make it sound like a superpower, but in a lot of cases it's a trauma response. You listen to the footsteps to know if they're angry or if they're not angry. You listen to the footsteps to hear who it is, to know if it's safe. Shouting and screaming affects you. You try to keep it calm. So like when an empath confronts a narcissist, you're hurt. You feel like you're hurting the person you love. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to hurt the person that you care about, even though they're the one that crossed your boundary. You become hyper aware of your surroundings. It feels like a superpower, and sometimes it's amazing, but it's like that fear. You read the face. You could see microaggressions, micro-expressions. It feels like a Sherlock Holmes type story. And it gets glorified in the media like that. There are some people known as highly sensitive people who are naturally born that way, that could sense that type of energy. But for most part, when I hear empath, it's someone that's been through a certain trauma, a certain hurt in different ways. Emotional, physical, maybe both. And this is what I mean, the programming. We've been trained to sit there, to fit in, to learn, to fit in, to disappear. Yep, and then you have that fear. The fear to live without them, because we're afraid. We want that connection. And the thing is, we think if we have that other person, that we could feel that love, that connection to divinity. This one is ruby quartz. Yep. Sometimes, even if as I'm doing a live, if I hear a certain noise, I'll kind of stop and like look over in this direction, as if I could see through the walls and the floors and try and listen what's going on. Yep, ruby quartz. We're still focusing on the heart. Still focusing on the heart energy. I'm going a bit later than I normally do. Next week I'm going to be doing from 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern. Just tonight I felt like doing at 9. It's hard, it's difficult, it's a lot. But look it up. Look up what a narcissist is. Look up what an empath is. Kind of do a bit of deep diving as well, because this is just me. I'm only touching the surface of what it is, just to point out the patterns that you're going to be experiencing, or that you have been experiencing. Okay, this is what I wish that I learned about in school. I didn't know what a healthy relationship should look like until maybe I still don't know what that's supposed to look like. But so much research has to be done. So much figuring out has to be done. Being human is painful. Yeah, when you hear certain things, you just... The fawn response, isn't that kind of like freezing in a way, or just kind of playing, kind of innocent in a way, or kind of... I can't find the right word. You want to fit in. Yep. It doesn't even matter what age. I just know at 30 things set in, and then after that it's taking time to reprogram who you are, notice the patterns, and learning how to reprogram them. And so learning what they look like is important. Learning how to speak your boundaries out loud is also important. So if you've noticed any of the patterns I've mentioned, if you feel like you're ruminating on them, speak it out loud. Just say, like, listen, right now you're gaslighting me. Because the things I described was gaslighting, where it's like, it wasn't that bad what I did to you, or you did this to me, whatever. Set your boundary where it's like, I said I wanted to kind of talk about what you did to me. I understand you might have felt a different way, a type of way about something else, but right now this is kind of what I want to focus on. If they continue to be childish, is that a person you want to stay with? Is that the relationship you want to spend the rest of your life with? Yep, and it's hard. I know walking out is hard, because we feel that connection. Once you've been in a relationship long enough, you feel like you have an obligation to stay. And then I know having like family, having other ties to it, it's a lot. And it's like, if you live together, there's a lot of bits and pieces, but it's recognizing the pattern, recognizing what's important for you. That's why I started with, you have to treat yourself like your own best friend. It's difficult. When it's your mom, it's difficult. I've seen that so much. You can't change them. You could notice the pattern. If you have to face them, it's a lot of just kind of saying, like, creating a shield around yourself. If I know I'm going to go into a situation that's someone that's sort of narcissistic, I'm like, I need to imagine a bubble of light around me. I need to imagine whatever energy kind of floating around me. shielding me, protecting me. A lot of people try therapy because therapy is supposed to help. But I know finding a good therapist is always a struggle. Getting that person to therapy is an even bigger struggle. And then if they maintain those changes is another challenge. That's why it's like, pour that love into yourself. If you pour enough love into yourself and rewrite enough of those narratives, they can't affect you. Or if they do affect you, you then have the tools to kind of confront it. Because they're going to say things to rile you up. It's a dance, like I said. You act a certain way, they're going to act another way to kind of... It's a power move to kind of pull you into their direction. And you have to notice when that's coming up and kind of step back and say... If you're not ready, like, you have to set the boundaries. Like, I understand, I'm sorry if that's what hurt you, but this is what I'm talking about. And I had set these boundaries. I set the intention of what I wanted to talk about. There are different ways to approach it. Because they're always going to have that sort of like, you hurt me too. My ego's hurt. And sure, maybe the ego might actually be hurt. But if you set the intention where it's like, I wanted to talk about this, and this is how I felt. That's going to be big. That's going to be important. And because they want to pull you down to their level. That's the thing. They're going to want you to come down to their level and be like, you're behaving childish. You're acting silly, or other words, or other things happening. If it gets too heated, backing away, being like, let's pick this up later. We could talk about both of these events later. But there's not a fight. I want to discuss about how you made me feel in this situation, because I don't want you to make me feel that way again. This is my boundary. And I don't appreciate when that boundary is pushed. Yep. They say things like that. They're like, you're the reason that I do. No. No matter what it is, at the end of the day, they made that choice. They do those things. But they want to do that tantrum. They want to throw that tantrum. I say if there are no connections, cut ties, walk away. And yes, it hurts. You're going to... Because if you watch the whole thing, it all ties together. Because I said it takes 3 to 6 months to see their true colors. Those first 3 to 6 months, they can show up. Anybody could show up as the most perfect person in the world. The most amazing person that cares. And after those 6 months, when they feel like they have you hooked, it's sort of like, all right, this is the show. This is what's happening now. They're going to be love bombing, then stepping away, backing away. They're going to hurt you, then love bomb you so that you forget about what the bigger issue was. There's such a level to it. I don't even have enough time to go into all of it, but there's such a level to where that dance begins that it's difficult. Once you see those patterns, once you know, I guess your homework, if you're still here, is sort of, what are your green flags? What are your red flags? What are your boundaries? What do those look like? What do I say when those boundaries are pushed? When in the past have those boundaries been pushed? And how can I enforce these boundaries? You have to see someone in 4 seasons. It's true. Because we change. The thing is, we also go through a lot of things. So 3 to 6 months, we change as people. I'm not the same person I was the moment from, an hour ago when I began this live. I'm not even the same person. I've learned a lot. You've learned a lot. We've elevated. So it's okay to change. It's okay for people to go through hardships. But it's like, we have to trust people to make the right decision, do the right thing. But we have to do right by ourselves first. No, I talk a lot during my Reiki sessions. Even my one-on-ones, it's a whole meditative narrative that I tell. A lot of people say the talking helps. Tonight was a bit spicy though. Tonight was a bit more, just because it's something that came up for me as well. Things I was dealing with. Because like I said, we began off kind of talking about feeling lonely, feeling the heart space being broken, and the things that I remember in past relationships were the things that I liked, but they were always at the very beginning of the relationship and not as the relationship went on. Because my ex would say a lot of things like, I know you've been here for me. Once I get myself together, I'm going to be able to be there for you. And it's tough. It's tough. I mean, technically, if you don't like the talking as well, you can mute it. That works as well. This week has been heavy with the Aries energy that's been going on. And so the Aries energy is not bad energy. It's a fire. It's a fire that's burning through. But the way that it's burning through is sort of like it's bringing up and dredging up a lot of old narratives for us to face and confront. And so it's creating the anxiety or putting us in situations that feel like things that we've faced before. That's what's happening. Because I did on my Patreon, I did a reading and it was like, mirror what is happening, what's triggering you. Coping mechanisms. I always have to lean into coping mechanisms. If you could get out of the space that's creating the anxiety and take a moment to kind of step away, breathing exercises, breath work, EFT tapping, visualization if you can. It's Phoenix energy. That's exactly it. There's a rebirth, but it has to burn through the old. Just as I'm playing with different divination, last Saturday I went into the backyard. We're just getting out of winter now, and so we're kind of digging through the old leaves, the old dirt, kind of fluffing everything up, kind of planting new intentions. I'm not sure when it'll go away. I feel like I'm not entirely sure. I think it's going to be, I'm going to recommend as always kind of a lot of journaling. What's coming up, what heavy energies are coming up. But creating the tools that can kind of help and see, because I've been noticing a lot of past ideologies have come up, hopefully towards the new moon. Yep. April 1st is going to be the new moon, I believe. Yes. Getting outside, grounding, being in nature for a bit. If you could be outside for at least like 20 minutes to an hour, because you want to ground back into the body. But also, if you feel a lot of anxiety, it's probably a lot of situations that have happened, a lot of ruminating thoughts that are going on, and maybe some decisions have come up that need to be faced that's causing the anxiety. Music. I had a session earlier this week, and like the main focus was like scream, shout, sing angry music if you have to. All the Aries energy. If you have agoraphobia, what about if you visualize being outside, or kind of like looking at videos of being outside? Does that help, or does that also create lean into the agoraphobia? It could cause neck and shoulder pain. I'm not an exact doctor on it, but I've felt that a lot. For me, it's heavy in the chest area. I'm glad this helped. Sometimes we have to let go and trust the universe. And I know that's hard. I know it's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. But sometimes just throwing it to the wind and just being like, listen, universe, if you really want me on this path, meet me halfway. Show me what it is. I'm gonna go back to the selenite as I start wrapping things up in a little bit. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. I hope this helps. I know this was a heavier topic, but I felt like it was important to kind of dive into it. Yes, these are recorded, and I do post these on my YouTube. Maybe tomorrow I'll post it, because it takes a while to upload. Hopefully TikTok doesn't mess up the recording. My YouTube is located, if you look up Alchemist Kennedy, it'll show up. But everything's in my bio. Patreon's in the bio, YouTube's in the bio. If you want to schedule one-on-ones, that's in the bio. The idea behind the Patreon is sort of like a healing space, an energy healing space, where like every like astrological season we step into, or every month we step into, I try to do a oracle card reading and create kind of like shadow work prompts to work with. And I'm also posting some like tuning fork audios up there. On the higher level, I'm posting a bit more Reiki videos. That way, if anyone can't do one-on-one with me, they have a place that they could go to. But I'm still figuring out what people want, what works for them, what they're looking for on their healing journey. That's something I'm still trying to navigate through. My friend Anne, she kind of described it as like homework. That's what they should be used as. Kind of healing homework. I studied a lot of things. In school, my bachelor's is in psychology. I also studied creative writing. More recently, last year I studied UX design, but it's been tough finding a job in UX, or the universe just doesn't want me there. If your For You page is sad, I look up part of TikTok that I want to be in, and just kind of start interacting with those videos until those start showing up. Or I go, instead of looking at the For You page, I click on the following page. That way I narrow it down to people that I know specifically are going to give me the content that I want. Yes, I love psychology, but then also I hit walls when I was trying to do get into therapy work, and so everything led to the next thing, and that led me here, and I'm not sure where I'm going to head next, but hopefully it's fun and supportive. I'm going to send you all a bit of just pure Reiki energy. So if you want, imagine yourself in a shield of light, calling in back those heart fragments, those soul fragments. Because when we have a broken heart, or we feel kind of those parts of us breaking apart, they go into hiding. They wait for you to be safe, for them to return to you. And that could be like that innocence. Those parts of you that you miss, they still exist, just waiting for you to call them back. But imagine that shield of light forming around you, like a bubble. Know that it's always there, whenever you need to call into it. And so what you could do beforehand is sort of imagine the light around you, or holding your hands kind of in the heart space and calling in that shield of light. Saying the words, I am protected, you are shielded, you are powerful. Because your words are spells. Use them. That's why they're important. I hope you all feel better. I know this was a rough one. I know there was a lot of energy. Thank you all. And if I missed any comments, feel free to go to my my introduction video and just comment anything there. And when I get time, I could try and reply or tag you in a video if there's a video that I feel resonates with you. But yes, hopefully Monday I'll do another one, and then next Friday I'll be doing another one. Jackie, I feel like I've been trying to remember, Jackie, if you're the one that emailed me. I'm gonna follow you back. Just message me if you're the one that had questions or needed some guidance. because I feel like all week I'm like, who needed help? All right, everyone. I hope you have a good evening. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for staying with me. I know this was a long one. You all take care. Enjoy that weekend, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care.